Jeff. How's it going?
Hey, Sergio, doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Well, so how's training going?
I've had a great camp. I had the 10 weeks that I always, ask for if I'm going to be fighting at 154. So, I mean, everything went perfect, especially since I had, so many different camps already. I'm coming out of a camp from April for my fight April 3rd, and then I was supposed to fight July 23rd at Pachanga. And then all of a sudden, I canceled that, and they gave me this one. So I'm ahead of schedule. Just took, 2 weeks off of my last camp just to, get refreshed and start new with Mosley. But great shape, feeling great.
Awesome. So, what's a typical day of training for you right now? I mean, how much is game plan versus just general kind of keeping in shape and actually working on your techniques and stuff?
I would say it's maybe 60% game plan. The entire 10 weeks has been mostly game plan because with Mosey, you can't outpower him, you can't outspeed him. You can outbox him, as people have been, he's been outboxed from the outside. He's been, pressured by Winky Wright. So, we took a little bit of strategy from Winky and Vernon and just recently Floyd. So we're trying to incorporate a little bit of everything and bring it to my own.
So it's interesting you mentioned Winky Wright. So I was curious, at this stage, and I remember Hopkins, when he fought Winky, he talked about putting a photo of Winky in his bedroom, and every day or every night when he went to sleep, he would, look at that, and it would give him, motivation. But how often at this point are you thinking specifically about Mosley when you're training? Like, if you're hitting the bag, what are you thinking about?
No, I'm just thinking about, how great it's going to be to be in there with a legend like that, and someone that I'm really familiar with myself. He's a great guy outside the ring, and I know him. I've known him for 10 years outside the ring, and I know that he's a warrior. And he comes to knock everyone out. So I know once the bell rings, this guy's not my friend, and I gotta watch out. But I'm really focused, and really prepared what he has to bring. And I know he has a great corner and a great trainer on his team with Nazim Richardson. I have a lot of respect for him. Always have since amateurs. And from what I read, he has a lot of respect for me too. And it's mutual. He knows what I can do. I just gotta focus on Shane and stick to the game plan and know my strengths and try to capitalize on his weaknesses. He does have weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Well, so, and just to kind of follow up, we all of your fans, all boxing fans, most of us don't ever step into the ring. We're never faced with, matching up with another great fighter. So I'm just curious, when you actually are training, when you're hitting the bag, when you're, doing any kind of workout, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about how the fight's going to play out? Are you thinking about your opponent? Are you just kind of, mindlessly, running through your various punch patterns, or what's going through your head?
No, I never train mindlessly when I'm motivated for a guy. Whenever I'm fighting a nobody, I just train to get in shape and be at the best possible condition that I could possibly be in. But for this, I have him in my head. I see him in front of me. I see him, jittery, with the fast hands moving and always trying to land those big shots. Those big body punches, a big right hand, a left hook. So everything I'm doing is focused towards him and towards the game plan that we have, and just to put it on him. I got to beat him at his own game, and it's gonna be a great night at Staples. It's our hometown, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has more fans there than I do because he's had some great wins there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of his losses, his recent loss against Floyd, happened not too long ago. What did you think of that fight? And, outside of his big moment, and I think it was the fourth round where he caught Floyd a little bit and had him, maybe hurt. What do you feel about his performance there and what happened? He seemed to gas out after that, but what was your take?
Well, there's a lot of speculation of what happened there. Obviously, there's really bad rumors of why he gassed out, and I really don't want to concentrate on in the past or hearsay and all that, but I really feel that all that time off, I have good experience on how it is to be inactive. So he was out of the ring over a year. I think it was like 15, 16 months, I know how much that could take a toll on a fighter, especially if you're going to be fighting someone as fast and defensive as Floyd Mayweather. So I just really feel that was just all the rust and fighting the best fighter in the world. And obviously, he just looked old. I'm not looking at that fight, because Floyd Mayweather can make a 21-year-old, feel old. So I'm just going off of last year's destruction of Antonio Margarito. He had fast hands. He punched a lot. He backed up Margarito, and he was throwing a lot of punches. So that's the guy that I'm training for.
So it seems like in recent years, as Mosley has gotten a little bit older, his tendency has been to hold a little bit on the inside more than work. Is that an advantage for you? Do you think that's something you can take advantage of, or is that just part of his maybe game plan, and maybe you want to fight more at range? Any thoughts there?
Well, it's funny. In our camp, we realized that, and my trainer had me kind of wrestling guys, because we know that he's a strong guy in the inside, and he does like to hold and maneuver in there like that. But we're gonna bring that up to the referee, let him know that we're not here to hold, we're here to fight, and hopefully, if he does it too many times, he can take some points away from him. But we'll make sure to point that out to the referee, and we are aware of that. He's a strong guy. I know that. I've hung out with him. I've hugged the guy. I know the guy's really strong. So I'm pretty sure when we're in there, he's gonna feel really strong as well. And if he's gonna be holding, it's gonna be, it's gonna wear me down if I'm not careful. So I gotta make sure to not fall into his strategy and his trap, and hopefully the referee does his job.
Yeah. Coming from the Contender, you've sort of been, at least by some, and particularly on like boxing message boards and even some writers haven't given you the full credit or respect that maybe you've deserved, particularly after your Forrest fight. I think everyone gave you credit for that, but they were pretty quick to snatch it back again, after you had your second fight with him. What do you feel like if you beat Mosley, will you get full credit for beating Mosley at this stage of his career?
No, I don't think so. I think no matter how great of a performance I have, there's always going to be people that are going to be able to point out the negative. I just think some people have that. Well, there's always going to be critics for that, but I've always been, honest with that criticism. Always, even as an amateur, if it's not my style, it's my defense, or my lack of what they think is power, my awkwardness. It's always something. My interviews, I don't know. It's always something wrong, and I just think I can't concentrate on that. I just gotta go in there and do what I always do, and that's win. It took Vernon Forrest to beat me after I beat him. So, it takes a lot to be a fighter like me, especially when I'm prepared like I am for this fight. So I can have the best performance against Shane. I'm still gonna get hated on. So it's all good, man. I just gotta go in there and win. Do my job.
Yeah. Do you think you will make the fight, or do you think Shane's going to make the fight?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I have no idea, Jeff. I think we're gonna find out. I think he's gonna probably try to box me. I've seen him try to do that in his last couple fights. He moves early and then he gets aggressive later. So I'm interested in seeing. I know he likes touching gloves before the first round, and he likes to keep it like a sparring session. So we're gonna find out what he's gonna come at me. I got two feelings. He either comes out guns blazing from the first round, trying to take me out, because he doesn't want it to go into the later rounds, or he's gonna come out moving and boxing. He's gonna maintain that throughout the whole fight.
Right. So with that in mind, if those are two fairly likely scenarios, have you game planned for both and sort of have a game A or a plan A and a plan B for that?
My biggest gift, and I've said this several times, and I'll continue to say it, I'm not the biggest guy, I'm not the strongest guy, I'm not the fastest guy, and I think my biggest gift as a fighter is adaptability, and that has to do with intelligence. I can stay in there long enough to figure out a way to win, and that I think is my biggest gift, the fact that I can adapt to any style, and the fact that I grew up in LA and had so many opportunities to spar so many great fighters, well, really good fighters in the gym, and fight, guys like Terry Norris when I was like 15, 16 years old, and Luke Aquino and David Reed and David Kamau. I mean, I was sparring these guys before my 18th birthday. Fernando Vargas, Obakar. So I got a mix of all these different styles at a young age. So I really feel that was my key to success now. I can adapt and advance anything, so that's what I think is going to happen. If he comes out boxing, I'm going to adapt to that. If he comes out blazing, I'm going to adapt to that. Mm-hmm. My biggest gift is being able to find out a way to win.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of sparring, for this particular fight, are you sparring with anyone that we might have heard of or no?
Well, yeah, you might have heard of Rashad Holloway. He always trains with Manny Pacquiao. Mm-hmm. Manny Pacquiao's one of his main sparring partners. So we've been getting in some great work with him. We got some fast up and comers that youngsters 2, 3, 4-0 as professionals that Cameron Duncan, my manager, recommended. One of his names is Flavio. The other one's name is Eric Mendez. We also had a guy that's 14-0. His name's Curtis Mayfield. We had him in the gym. We've been mixing it up. We like guys kind of wrestling. We like guys kind of boxing, and we got like guys that are kind of straightforward, throwing a lot of body shots. So we've been mixing it up pretty right, me and Dino.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in the ring with someone as fast as Shane, do you think?
Probably not. But I've been in the ring with someone similar and maybe bigger, in Ishe Smith. I think Ishe and Shane Mosley fight pretty much alike. They're both fast, strong guys that fight similar, have similar stance, only Ishe was bigger. So, and I think maybe more active when I fought Ishe. So I think I fought someone similar to Shane. Shane's never seen anybody like me, no.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Shane is faster than you?
I think he's quicker. Yeah, I think there's different type of speeds. There's long, lengthy speed, and I think there's short, explosive speed. I think he packs a very explosive punch from like point A to point B. But in combinations, I really feel that he used to throw more combinations when he was younger, and he used to bang them to the body a lot more. But I think now he really concentrates on a couple punches, and he usually takes out people with those couple punches. So that's his game plan now. He kind of loads up a lot more now, and we just gotta be careful for that.
Mm-hmm. I know after your first fight with Forrest, you mentioned that although of course you won the fight and you looked pretty good in doing that, that you really felt that you could have done better in that fight. If I don't recall for sure if you said that was just because of nerves. It was your first championship fight. Do you think you'll have any kind of sort of warming up period during the fight in the first few rounds?
Well, when I fought Vernon, not only was it my very first 12-round fight, but it was my first fight against a really good, well-known opponent.